Hey everybody, it's Norm from Tested here, along with
Kate from Tested.
And we're back with another model making project. It's been a while, Kate,
Yes.
but we had to get one in. I know you have a lot of stuff going on, but so I'm glad
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. But recently, Kate showed off a wonderful video showing off some of your favorite crafting tools, including a wide range of cutting implements, as well as I love just like the different tweezers you have,
Yes.
and even adhesives specifically for working with paper.
Oh yeah, you gotta have the right tools for the right job, and paper crafting is so fun that I've found myself amassing a lot of tools just for that.
You amass the tools, I amass the kits, and I've had some of these paper model kits saved for the perfect day. This, I feel like, is the perfect day. These are lovely Japanese model kits from a company called Sankei, Sankei, and they come in all different scales. They're in nice, durable cardstock.
Yeah.
And this series is 1/220th scale.
So small.
It's tiny, and we're just making these kind of, Japanese buildings, storefronts, essentially. We'll need glue. We'll need to cut out the sheets of paper from the paper sprues, I guess, the sheets. Everything that makes use of the tools that you recommended.
Yes, this is gonna be very exciting.
I'm very excited to put these together. So we're just gonna break these packages open, kind of show you what they're like, and get to building, and we'll talk about some of these tools as we go along.
Yay.
The way these model kits come together are not like interlocking pieces. There's not a ton of joinery, even though things are perfectly fit, but it's layered,
Yes.
right? So to emulate the side of a building and maybe, molding or relief work, it just stacked pieces, multiple sheets of cardstock. And when you have the cardstock, and I believe this is laser cut because you can see
It
some
looks
of
like
those
the burn mark,
lines.
yeah.
Yeah, of different texture and different colors, but they all have a nice matte feel.
Yeah.
I think it works really well at this scale.
It's very satisfying. Now, I did have a question about whether or not, since this is Japanese, it would move in the same direction, since, American writing and Japanese writing tends to move in different directions. But when you look at it, you see there's a completed model at the bottom and an incomplete model at the top. So it's, fair to assume that we're gonna start at the top and move to the bottom.
And the sheets are very clearly labeled, kind of like you would do a traditional Lego set or something.
Yeah.
Sheet A, B, C, D. Mine only has 4 different colors, 4 different sheets. Each one has numbered pieces, so don't cut them out ahead of time. And I've laid out my work area here. This is like the perfect kind of project to do even at your standard work desk, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't need a big cutting mat. You don't need a ton of surface area. We have one craft knife each with some backups if we need to.
Yep.
A pair of tweezers to pick up the small pieces. And then I love, we'll get to these, but I love the little like applicators for glue.
I brought in some of my model glue applicators, and sometimes when you're working with something this small, you just need to have a variety of tools for how to apply it just right.
All right, I'm using this pH neutral PVA glue that Kate recommended. Good for paper.
Yes, and it is archival quality. Because it's pH neutral, it means that it won't yellow. It will, it's basically museum quality.
A little bit of glue goes a long way with this.
Yes.
So just a little bit.
Yeah, and also I find that it dries pretty much as quickly as, say, white glue does. So I tend to do a little bit first, use what you can, and then if it dries up, you're not wasting too much of it.
And what are these applicators traditionally used for?
Honestly, these ones that I bought are for model making, but as you have experienced before, a lot of people sell these for makeup application as well. But I bought a sort of assorted pack for model making, and that allows you to have a bunch of different sized tips.
I have a bunch of sub-assemblies done, so I'm about to connect my 3 walls here, and it's already super satisfying because you can see a wall like this is made up of 4 stacked sheets of this cardstock, and even with 4 sheets, it feels substantial. You can even see as light is bouncing off it, it's like you're actually getting real shadows inside the window frame. At small scale, I can't believe how nice this looks, and the cardstock feels sturdy. And some of these panels do have little tabs. You can see there's wide tabs on the top and the sides, and even if the pieces feel like the tabs are being obscured and blocked, I think that's okay. I think it's more important to make sure like the window panes are lined up, because these tabs will slot into another wall that the corner will actually be nicely hidden, so you don't see a lot of exposed edges that are meeting at the side of these buildings. All right, now I'm actually doing some assembly, not flat packing or not flat assembly, but some actual dimensional stuff. And the glue very nicely smears along just the thin edge of this cardstock. I love this applicator, Kate. It's almost like the mortar or the caulking that you would use. And then it perfectly fits in and doesn't require a ton of force. The fitment here is really nice. And because the glue sets pretty quickly, wow. Oh, it's so cute. All right, so I got the main structure of this building complete, and already it's gorgeous. I love this roof. You have this kind of corrugated aluminum siding with a warmer front, so it really reads like post-war building of a warehouse turned into a storefront. Again, love the layering of the windows, but not done yet. There's going to be molding. There's going to be a deck railing, which is going to be maybe the most fun of this, because I'm going to start turning 2D objects here into 3-dimensional railing, including having beams that are going to be perpendicular. And so sub-assemblies continue, and this is going to be where the tweezers really come in handy. And there we have it. That was so much fun, Kate.
It really was. There's something very meditative about it. So small, and yet it's all sort of planned out for you.
Everything is so perfectly fit together and meditative. It was so calming. It's like we both got into this Zen state, which is why you could tell it's a lot of time lapse and montage in this video, as you saw. But my favorite part of these kits is the material, the cardstock, the right amount of thickness that when it's layered, when you have 2 or 3 pieces together, it feels substantial.
It really does. It almost starts to feel like balsa, or like a bit of a thinner wood where the strength builds up. It's surprising. You'd be afraid that you were going to crush it or something if it was just thin paper, but this feels pretty hardy.
And both your building and my building have these nice little back railings that became their own little sub-assemblies. Those are maybe the trickiest part, I think, to put together.
Yeah.
And
we both have some awnings.
Yes.
Lettering.
The color decals, or the details with the paper cutouts. I gotta say, of all the tools you brought in, I love using the applicators.
Yeah.
And the MVP for me is this glue. The glue held it all together.
And you made a good point. I think that there's a bit of a substance to the glue, so that when you're working with something so fine and so delicate, like these tiny, tiny pieces, you can rely on the glue to act as a mortar or cement and really put some structure in there.
Awesome. Yeah. We're gonna now move to one of my favorite parts of a model kit build, which is then to photograph and shoot some close-ups of this. So we're gonna leave you with some close-ups of these 2 buildings. If you're curious about these model kits, I'll have links to where you can find some in the description below, as well as, of course, the tools that Kate has recommended here. But I could spend all day building these.
I can't wait to do more.